right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all so much for joining. My name's Allison Michaels, and I'm a part of the Viva Engage product group. I am thrilled to be joined with Tiffany here today, and I'll let her introduce herself. But so good to see so many familiar faces in the chat and a part of this. And I'm hoping that you are all already experts. You already know how to react. You already know that the Q&A goes across the top. Put your questions there. We will have time for Q&A during this session. And I know you're going to have some follow-up questions for Tiffany. I met Tiffany, gosh, what, a couple of months ago? She shared a similar story, and I was begging her, literally, it felt like, to kind of continue to share this story and the journey and kind of their lessons learned with all of you, and kind of what they've learned across the way. So I'm super excited. And then after she's done, kind of depending on the timing that we have, I'll be able to share what's new and next with some of the Engage product updates. If you missed some of the Ignite announcements, or if you want to go a little bit deeper, we'll kind of have those towards the end. All right, that's it from me for now for a while. Tiffany, you want to go ahead and take over the screen so you can see the slides and your notes if you can. All right, cool. Go ahead to the next slide and you should be good to go.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay, well, hello. Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation. This is our story of how we brought Copilot and Viva Engage successfully into Micron. So for meeting people where they are, that really means that we want to provide information, how, when, and where people need it. So for over 50,000 global team members, that clearly wasn't a problem with one simple solution. So I'll start off telling you a little bit about myself, share what Micron needed, what goals we were trying to achieve, what challenges we faced when we were trying to achieve these goals, and then how we have mostly solved a lot of those challenges. And then, yes, there will be some time for questions at the end. So I've been writing since I was a child, and I've been lucky enough to turn that passion into a really long career. I've used my writing and communications degree as a communications manager for 2 decades at various companies covering multiple industries in Seattle, Denver, Dallas, and now in Boise, working for Micron. I've managed a content development team in IT with a focus on improving internal training and communication for our over 50,000 global team members for almost 6 years now. 3 years ago, I remarried, and we are now a blended family of 4 girls, 2 dogs, and a Taurus. I am a self-published author of children's books, young adult fantasy books, and women's fiction, with a focus on and passion for helping women heal from trauma and help them identify and end patterns of abuse through story. So within information technology, we are launching new productivity tools or updating existing tools regularly. People need to read about, learn how to use, and then implement these tools to enhance their personal productivity. When employees are finally ready to use a new tool, they go looking for information that's buried within hundreds of emails, tons of messages, within a massive company with decades of resources that rarely gets cleaned out of the environment. So those employees also need a quick and easy way to find all of the resources that my team creates when they're finally ready to digest the information that they previously ignored, to be honest. People need information where they are, which is at their desks, walking around offices, receiving emails and invitations, meeting with managers or coworkers, searching the internet and intranet, So we send them content to read and update our internet pages and plaster pretty digital signs on office screens across campuses. Easy. Communication and training teams have been providing educational materials in various formats for decades. So what's the problem? So one major challenge is that people are missing the message. I came to Micron nearly 6 years ago with three primary goals. First, to target the correct audience. Not every person at Micron needs to know about every single change every single time. Maybe people don't read because they get too many emails that do not pertain to their role, and it's difficult to decipher which ones they should even care about. And then, second, to shorten our messages while linking out to educational videos, linking out to process documents, and more. So, I wanted to incorporate this less is more and push pull marketing concepts. So, we push just what they need to know, and then we pull them to additional resources like videos, cheat sheets. As I was saying, we're hitting communications and training at every possible angle, letting people know about generative AI tools that are available, how to learn about them, how to get started with them. And I would still hear from leadership that people were saying they didn't even know that we had generative AI tools. And then I was told that that must mean we're not communicating enough, right? Super disappointing to hear after all of that work, all of that effort. So then dug a little deeper. Our second challenge, people are missing the message because they don't have enough time, especially for things they aren't interested in, because they don't know yet that they should be interested. People don't have time to read, to learn, to use new tools when the old tools, processes, and methods work just fine for them. And they have a deadline, they're busy. So even if that new tool would save them hours a week, they can't make time to save themselves time. Most people don't search for something when they know the old guard or their leaders have the answers, but that isn't always the best solution. It can be disruptive. You have to track the right people down, and if that right person leaves or is out of office, you're out of luck. So when it comes to learning and taking classes, I also understand it can be hard to sit through something when you don't immediately need it. People prefer just-in-time learning or learning by doing. So change management struggles with getting people to make the time to learn how to use a tool that isn't launched yet, isn't available yet. So what's the solution for people who need to learn and find resources, but they don't have time to read or attend training, or for people who don't think a change applies to them because they're doing just fine with their current resources and processes? I think that the solution should involve enjoyment, social, story, connections, and meeting people where they are, communicating with them in a way they understand within an environment they enjoy. I think we would all agree that our antiquated ways lack enjoyment. We don't enjoy being pinged all day long with information. We don't enjoy processing emails. We don't enjoy watching long videos or attending long training sessions. And we definitely don't enjoy reading process documents. Unless if you do, no judgment, but that ain't me. I think the solution is social because we do enjoy connecting with others. We enjoy watching short videos like YouTube or Reels. That's why they're so popular. We enjoy sharing tips and tricks and being seen as influencers, being seen as experts in our field. We enjoy helping each other out and growing together. And we enjoy celebrating each other. So before my husband and I got married, we were completely fine on our own. We were both successful at our careers. We pursued our individual passions. We were great parents. But together, we've doubled our value, strengthened our family, and are able to accomplish even more. Copilot and Viva Engage each solve separate and overlapping challenges, but blended together, they are a powerhouse, meeting even more people how, when, and where they are. So with Copilot, employees can search internal and external resources without tracking down the old guard. They can summarize long process documents, articles, emails, updates, and get the information that they need when they need it. They can get advice. They can start drafting, start outlining, and kickstart an entire project in seconds. Viva Engage, on the other hand, provides a platform employees can use, right, to watch short videos, to learn new tips and tricks whenever they want. So if they don't read emails, they don't attend live training sessions, they don't take classes, their buddies are out there sharing tips and tricks in this fun new social environment, right? So someone shares something at their time zone at midnight, you get online and you see it at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., right? It's out there. You can ask and answer questions. You can become known globally as an expert. Cross paths with people you never would have otherwise crossed paths with. I also love the feature where you can tag people in your post. So if I know who the expert is on a question and that expert is not me, I can tag that expert and say, hey, John, would you mind looking at this and answering this? You can respond to a comment. You can even give recognition, which is really cool. And it helps us communications folks by sending out those push notifications through Outlook and Teams when we really do need to send some sort of announcement that we don't want people to ignore. So where are you?
Hey, it's Jeff Willinger. How are you?
Hey Jeff, good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, so
Allison, can you mute?
on this.
Thanks. So where are you at? Are you a super social extrovert? Curious on the audience if you can give me a reaction, a thumbs up, if you are more on the extrovert end of things. Great. So if you're an extrovert, you go out, to Viva Engage, you post, you like, you engage, you ask, you drive conversations, you create that influence. Or are you a lurking introvert? So who out there is more on the introvert scale? Give me your reaction. Introvert? So that is also great. So introverts can read and watch whatever you're interested in, when you're interested in it. You can search through communities and even use Copilot within a Viva Engage community to catch up on posts and conversations that you've missed. So thinking about all of the various employee types that you have in your organization, There is a place for everyone here, even the antisocial people. So we do still have people who refuse to join and participate. Absolutely. Those are the people who also don't have Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok accounts, and that's totally fine. They are still reachable through all of our other more traditional channels like email. Those channels aren't going away anytime soon. But eventually, I hope that those people will realize how much they're missing out on by not participating. The FOMO strategy, the fear of missing out, it does work by creating a natural competition between employees fighting to be the expert and fighting for that next promotion. Just organically, what this looks like is somebody asks a question, someone else goes out and answers it. The introvert over here, someone who doesn't really engage, sees their coworker has gone and answered a question that they knew the answer to, sort of beat them to it. There's a little bit of, oh, my leader is going to now go see that this guy is answering these questions. But I knew the answer too. So maybe if I get out there, I will start to be seen, right? It's that FOMO. It works, especially on that younger generation. So now you may be wondering whether or not we've been successful here at Micron. So looking at our statistics, I say yes. People are connecting, they are engaging, they are posting, they are sharing, they are commenting, they are reacting, and finding answers to questions. For privacy reasons, I do need to ballpark our numbers, but we currently have a high percentage of our licensed users actively using Copilot on a monthly basis. We are reaching a large majority of our employee base in Viva Engage. So no matter where you are or what your job entails, you can meet coworkers in Viva Engage. You can meet the old guard and the new hires from across the globe to share best practices along with a bit of fun. Anyone can screen record how to do something using Clipchamp and post it into a community. There's no learning curve when it comes to using Copilot in Viva Engage. Sometime on my calendar today, I'm actually going to try to record a TikTok style video of myself advertising a course on culture and communication, and I'm going to post it. And I will be the first one at Micron to do this, hoping to encourage other leaders to do the same. You don't have to be a trainer either, or a communications expert to use these tools. In fact, you could be working in a bunker in Bartlesville, but as long as you have an internet connection, you can find the answer to your question using Copilot or Viva Engage. And yes, Bartlesville, it's a real place. So we didn't achieve this success without a plan. I am lucky enough to have a team of 16 global content creators who all embrace change. My team continually creates content for Viva Engage, sharing tips, short videos, and GIFs or GIFs in various communities. We post for leaders. We use the announcement feature sparingly just for urgent items. And we even share our own personal stories, pictures of pets, vacations, hobbies, right? We try to use it as both educational and social, really looking at that cultural community connection. We started pre-populating, this is important before you, if you haven't launched it yet, pre-populate those questions and answers before you launch. So if you already know that you've got a lot of frequently asked questions, you can preload those into the answers area of a community or within Viva Engage before you launch. We advise admins to keep the communities public and open. This encourages more engagement. You don't want to close it off because then it becomes quiet, right? We want it to be very loud. We controlled the community growth also by locking down community creation. So we have a request process set up that ensures new communities have to have a strategy, they have to be approved, and I'm the one that sets them up initially. With Copilot, on the other hand, our strategy was a phased growth. So not everyone gets a license, and your license will expire if you do not use it. So similar to not everyone getting a community, this creates a feeling of exclusivity. My team communicates frequently and hosts regular training sessions for all of the generative AI tools across the globe, but especially on Microsoft Copilot. And we showcase very specific use cases that we know our employees could benefit from. We also created an AI and Gen AI Viva Engage community. This has been a great place for people to share their prompts and use cases, short videos on how to perform Copilot actions within applications, and essentially growing not just the community and user base, but everyone's ability to become experts and influencers. Meaning there are people who are not on my team, who I've never met before, who are sharing their use cases, and I'm choosing to mark them as experts in this community. So most importantly, my team did not just launch these tools and walk away. A community has to be tended to like a garden to grow. Viva Engage and Copilot are now just more tools in our shed, more capabilities in our communications and training strategy. And then I want to share an example of a community with a strong communication strategy and one without. So some things that successful communities need. First, they need an executive sponsor who supports that community creation and will be a vital member. This also helps ensure that someone in one department isn't asking for a community to be created that should really be owned by someone in another department. So you don't want HR creating an IT community, for an example. Second, I ask the person who's requesting the community if they have a communication strategy and a posting schedule. What's their plan? Communities will die quickly if there's no communication stakeholder, no strategy, no goals, no plan. You don't let a child have a dog until they can take care of a goldfish, right? Third, if a community starts dying, I will go poke the admin. I hold them accountable for the success of their community. So as you see on the left, that blue line shows non-members who are reached. The purple line is members. So this is a public community, meaning anyone can join and follow. So you don't have to be a member to go take a peek, right? To go interact, to follow it. So we do still invite certain people to be members. So if you have a license or if you're part of an organization, you can go ahead and add those people as members, but I don't close it down. Like I'm not shutting down my IT community just to IT employees. I'm still leaving it open. What if someone in HR wants to become an IT employee someday? It'd be kind of nice if they already kind of know what's going on in our culture. We post regular content, especially from leadership. And then, we keep it open for questions and answers too. And then the graph on the right was kept private, meaning members are either added or they have to request to join. And it was set up as restricted. So it wasn't open for anyone to post, ask a question, right? So this is an option. All the posts can be driven by the admin, but you'll see how one post that was posted by an admin in this particular community, it receives some views, but then it immediately drops off. It's not interactive. It's not open. It's not free thinking. And so we advise to avoid that. And then I want to give you some examples of communities that I did approve. So local sites, yes, let's build local communities. Let's share traffic and parking updates, local volunteer events, local classes. I got CPR certified here locally because of a post I saw on our local community. You know, ask questions locally, like where can I recycle on site? I approved employee resource groups. Absolutely, right? That is a corporate driven initiative. We want more people to be involved. We know there's a lot of group activity. Volunteering. So a volunteering community of global events, volunteer events and success pictures, sharing pictures from neighborhood cleanups. Corporate strategy. So some of your more, corporate stuff, business stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. Let's hear from the leaders. Let's have them driving those initiatives in just little bite-sized chunks, right? Employees can read and ask questions of those leaders directly if they don't understand how something pertains to the work that they do. Some communities I denied. One was called Eat Lunch/Food Hunters. There were requests for musicians, for artists, for authors like myself, or for book clubs. Instead of approving each individual niche, I threw them all into one and called it the Hobby Hub. Here, people can share links to things that they're working on, things that they're doing. So I've shared links to the books that I've published. I've seen some really cool posts in that community, like 3D printing of cosplay costumes and other interesting hobbies I never would have known about otherwise. So putting them all together in one was actually really successful. One I denied. You're gonna say, why did you deny it? Environmental and sustainability. Well, I denied it because the person requesting it was not in the Global Sustainability Organization. He was requesting it because it's a passion of his, which is awesome. But I told him, I need an executive stakeholder in that appropriate organization because, or the communications team or whoever runs that initiative officially needs to request it and needs to take ownership of it. And then a local bicycle commuting group said, instead of having your own bicycle commute group, why don't you join your local community and post about those bicycle events as a local community? So just a couple examples on where my brain was at when I was setting that up. So in summary, Viva Engage and Copilot are now just more communication, education, and connection tools in our shed, more capabilities in our strategy. I have found that they are both gaining a lot of traction and helping connect our global community, increasing overall productivity, and are enjoyable, right? And easy to use. These tools reach more people how, when, and where they are. And now I would love to hear from you. Do you have any questions or similar experiences with communication and training strategies? What else would you like to know?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Tiffany. There are a few questions coming in as I pull them up and kind of feed them to you. I do have a question for you, especially as you were thinking about the AI and the Copilot. Did you have anything, what was your most fun campaign, or, what was kind of the most enjoyable, I don't know, creativity moments that you guys kind of infused? Because I know you are super creative from that perspective.
Yeah, so a couple actually. I was in a meeting. These always come right from some executive is like, we don't have X or we don't have Y or this isn't doing this. And I go into problem solving mode. And one of them was to create a global AI influencer network. And I advertised it on Viva Engage in the AI community. And I did this by putting up a poll of different names for what this influencer network could be. and different acronyms, right? So the name and then the acronym. So we had like silly different ones, right? And the community voted, and the one that they chose, I launched it with my team. We have monthly sessions that meet globally. We have over 900 members now. Yeah, close to 950 members of this AI influencer network. So I would say that was a really big way for me to combine both Viva, AI and reach such a massive community with the goal of spreading AI knowledge even further, right? So that was a pretty big one for us. And then hearing from executives that people don't even understand the basics of AI. And I was like, ooh, AI for dummies. I got that, but I could do that. And so we launched a brief AI campaign in Viva as well that was just a very basic, like AI 101. What even does AI mean? In order to make sure that we really, really addressed the super basics. So that was a fun short video campaign that a couple of my guys put together as well.
Oh, I love it. I would definitely participate for the AI for Dummies. Some days I feel like ahead of the game and then other stuff comes out and I'm like, and I'm back to the beginning. So thank you so much. I love it. And somebody asked, all 900 people local or are they all across the world? I think you
Oh,
said
they're
global.
all over. Yeah, all
Yeah.
over the place globally. Yeah, it's really cool. And I do have a team in India, and that really helps us cover the globe, right? So
Yeah.
half my team is in Boise, half is in India, and we split up the time. And we help, like we share resources back and forth, and we meet all the time. So yeah.
Love it. I love it. Okay. Lena has a question about poking the admin, and she wants to know a little bit more about that. What type of revival plan gets put in place? Do you help out that admin or do they figure it out on their own? I feel like it's like a pip in school or like, like an employee. You're like, oh no, I'm doing. But yeah, what does that look like? What does that type of coaching look like?
Yeah, so anyone that knows me knows that I approach everything with a sense of humor and sarcasm. So I will in a very friendly way, reach out to the admin and yeah, just share my concerns. I've actually in the last couple of days been in a conversation with people starting a community and they wanted to kick it off private and restricted. And I was like, oh no, like, don't you want people to engage with it? So um, it's just it's resharing that story of if you want people to engage, you're not sharing anything top secret. You're not sharing anything that, you don't want people to like and comment and have discussions on. So why would you close it down? If your goal is to get human interaction, you need to allow the humans in the door, right? You need to let them have a voice. And so I just kind of use that approach and let them know. And then, yes, obviously I've got a team of 16, right? We're pretty big. We have learned a lot doing all of this. And so we happily support people. We will run sessions. They can ping us, ask questions anytime, and we'll walk them through. They can steal post from ours, right? Like from us and content from us. We're happy to help create the content or show them how we did it. But at the end of the day, anyone can create content and do a little post and even use Copilot to do the post for them if they're like, oh, I don't know how to communicate this message. Like, well, Copilot does, right? So, yeah.
I love it. Teresa has quite a few questions in the chat, so maybe after go in and answer. But I did want to kind of pull out a few of the thoughts. So good to see you here, Teresa. Love that you're here. But she kind of is asking about approving the communities and kind of that workflow and what that it looks like for you. And then is there anywhere else? I'm kind of adding this is like where you advertise the communities that are a part of like a directory. Is it in maybe new hire orientation or like how do people find them? And then kind of another question was, is there any, I feel like you've kind of answered it of like, why you guys really don't focus on that private piece of it. So kind of if you have anything, oh, I know what my last question was. Do you do any like quick education for these community managers who have raised their hands and who want to do more? What do you do for them?
Yeah. Yes.
That was a
So,
lot. Sorry.
no, you're good. So it's sort of a process flow here. So because I'm in IT, we have an IT ticket. So you submit an IT ticket, and I get, they're all in Bartlesville. So I take the ticket, and the ticket has certain questions that they have to answer, like, is there an executive sponsor? I need multiple admins. I need you to have a strategy, a communication strategy, a plan, goals you're trying to achieve, right? Like the very basics of communications management. And then sometimes there's a little back and forth. I need to confirm a couple of things, ask them a couple more questions before I determine if what they're requesting already fits into an existing community. I make that recommendation. I'm like, hey, look, buddy, what you want is already here. Why don't you go over there, take a month, and actually post and engage in what exists? And if it still doesn't fit your needs, come back and talk to me. A lot of these people are making requests because they think it's necessary, but they haven't even gone out and started using Viva Engage yet. So I do kind of make that recommendation if it sounds like something that already exists. We don't want duplications, right? And efforts. So once if they clear the hurdle, right? I'm like, yeah, this is a great, you've got great reason for this community. I'm going to go ahead and approve your community. It takes 3 minutes for me to set up a new community, right? And then my design guy will create the banner and the little icon for it. And I attach the guidelines to the email that I send to the admin. I attach the link to their community, their new community. And then I have an additional admin guide the Copilot wrote for me. And then I edited it, right? It's only like 2 pages, and it walks the admin through all of their kind of setup, their settings, their responsibilities, things to watch out for, that sort of a thing. But it's a very brief document. And then of course at the end, I'm like, let me know if you have any questions, contact me anytime. If I'm offline, I've got people who are online who can help support, right? So we manage it through that entire process. I will say we do also partner with HR. We are trying to get more global corporate communications people involved to kind of help get the message of Viva Engage communities out there. As early as new hire, HR has kind of an onboarding program. So as part of their new hire onboarding, they also have an onboarding community as well, right? So as you join, you've got this introduction, and then you can go just find it anytime. And our website to reach it is literally Viva Engage, right? It's super easy to find if you've lost it. And I love cross-pollinating my communications, right? So I trickle things around all the time. We have a global AI newsletter that we send out that will also highlight members in communities who have become experts. So we do a lot of, hey, have you seen this? Look at this. What about this?
I love it.
Track people down.
I love it. Okay. Thank you so much, Tiffany. These were great insights. People are already begging for the content for you to repurpose, or maybe you're going to just say, just use Copilot to create the AI for dummies. So love all the different stories that you've shared. Thank you so much. With our last about 15 minutes, I am going to do a quick run through of just some of the things where Copilot and Engage have really started to pop and highlighted and integrated over the last few quarters, especially if you have been inundated with messages from the marketing machine of Microsoft, or you're just trying to figure out or sort out, or you're brand new to Engage because your company's moved from a different platform, I have a few things I wanted to share with you. Some of the things we've shared at Ignite, we've posted in blog posts, but just kind of like how Tiffany said, like we've got to keep sharing some of these things so you can start to play with them in your own experiences and in your own networks as well. So I'll kind of, hopefully you've already kind of sensed, all of the products are really looking at where can AI be enhanced or incorporated into their product. And in Engage, it's no different. And Tiffany shared a few stats, but we do also want to kind of share some stats with you. We consistently see users who are using Engage and sharing what they know, and that peer-to-peer knowledge and connecting with experts, that really does help the adoption of their Copilot experiences, whether they're learning new prompts or finding out different ways to do things. That really is like a sweet spot of that community and peer-to-peer learning. So we see this, and we actually see that on average, users spend 6 more active days per month with Copilot, people who use Engage, than those without that community. So we'll post a little bit more about the community in the chat as well. If you haven't seen it yet, you will definitely want to look and see it. There's no licensing requirements for that Copilot community. So I'll talk a little bit about the Copilot adoption community. And this was created, gosh, a couple of months ago, really based out of looking at customers like Tiffany and some of the other customers that we work with really closely. Many of our customers were already doing this. And so we wanted to say, how could we continue to supercharge the work that you were already doing? For some of us who've been around Engage and Yammer Days for many, many years, we've already created communities around products or support. And so this was a really natural fit. So we'll talk a little bit about the Copilot community, and then kind of the other pieces that we'll talk really quickly about, if you haven't already seen, is about how the Copilot in Engage has gone through an upgrade. It is new, it is fancy, and it is so cool. We are doing some really interesting things. Like Tiffany shared, the different campaigns that you can start to pull up. It can start to do wrap-ups as you're all thinking about how to close out your year. Start to think about what you could do kind of using Copilot within Engage. And then again, I feel like I would be remiss to say it, and if you had a bingo card for this webinar, you would have gotten to check agents off. We have our community agent is now in preview, and if you haven't played around with that, this would be a great opportunity for you to start to play around with that. This is, at least at the start, the ability to answer questions that are asked of the community, and coming soon will be additional grounding opportunities, like grounding in different SharePoint sites and kind of being able to point where you ground it. There's still an opportunity to keep the human in the loop for this as well. So there's more on that. And then only the admins of the community need the M365 Copilot license. I'll say that one more time. Only the admins of the community, to get that community agent running in that community, need the M365 Copilot license. So if you don't already have an M365 license, but you know a community admin who does, or if there's a way to get that admin a license, they could really start to try out that as well. And then, of course, this had come, I think this has almost been about a year now, at least 8 months that we've had Engage content in chat. We're starting with the public communities, but if you are querying Copilot chat, and there is a content and context already indexed in Engage, it will pull it over into Copilot chat. And then coming, I don't know the date, I don't know the exact timing, but we're working on getting private content in the private communities that you are a part of on Engage to also be able to pull over there as well. So kind of just a quick rundown, and then we'll share links to all of these things as you want to dive in. I'll just highlight the Copilot adoption community. We have seen so many customers take this and run with this. And what I wanted to just share about this is, not only does it kind of set up the community, you don't have to worry about the banner or the logo or anything like that. We also kind of feed it with content about once a week. So we're pulling in content from our Microsoft Digital team, from our marketing partners, and kind of all across from that perspective. So you can at least see the content, you can edit, you can draft it, and then you can schedule and post it, whatever makes sense for you and that group and that community with your Copilot community. We'll also kind of start to suggest members based on licensing as well. And this was really founded out of watching some of our customers do that. They were basing membership based on who had licenses to what. And so we've started to kind of do this within the Copilot adoption community. We're not going to automatically add members, but we'll suggest members to those admins. Of course, you'd get the Q&A as well as kind of that expert and expertise kind of within that as well. I love the campaigns that are coming through. They're a lot of fun. Prompt of the week, Copilot news, what you've missed. And there's also like short one, kind of a picture and image as well. So lots of really great content for you all to start with. The second one that I talked about was the Copilot in Engage. If there's anybody from the Engage team, if you want to post the latest blog post, happy to share that as well. But this is just really, that catch-up conversation as well as I say it's like the Copilot icon that follows you everywhere in the Microsoft world, but you can start to query the content that is in a specific conversation, or show me what my manager has talked about, or give me content ideas for this community based on what's already been talked about. I'm working on some stuff right now for our customer community, and I've been using this Copilot based on what we've already shared over the past year. So I think it's a really great way to not only kind of review and catch up and see the trends, but also help you create content based on existing conversations and things like that. You need an M365 Copilot license to be able to access this. You do not need Premium Engage to access this. This is separate. This is just your M365 Copilot license. And then the agents and communities. So I would be remiss if I didn't spend a little bit of time on this, but we actually have turned this on in our customer community, as well as in quite a few of our communities at Microsoft. And it's a great way for us to have the agent draft a response. You can include a human in it to review the sources, identify kind of the grounding pieces and the reasoning before you approve it. And then also, I just tried this out the other day. You also have the ability to mention the agent, especially if the agent has given you a response. This is exactly what happened to me the other day, and I had further questions of the agent. And so I could mention the agent and kind of pull it through. So that's coming soon. And this is available now in public preview. So if you haven't set this up already, this is kind of, you can launch this at your network level. So your network admin for Viva Engage can join the preview. And then anybody with a Copilot license who is a community admin can start to try it out in their community. We'd love to hear your feedback. We've done some work on the tone, and we've done some work on the grounding already based on customer feedback who are already, a part of the preview. So we're really excited about that. And then finally, kind of this Engage content showing up in Copilot chat responses. Hopefully this is not new to you. We have been talking about this for a while. We're so excited because of the public content and conversations that are happening in your Engage networks in these larger communities, and just kind of these specific communities. How can we continue to kind of pull over that knowledge within Copilot? So we've improved the Copilot integration, and we've improved the discoverability. So that way, all those public conversations that are happening in that very open dialogue within your organization can be really tapped kind of within Copilot. So your users don't need to know, what community do I need to search for, or where do I need to go? They can just kind of ask Copilot, and they'll get access to the answers that they have access to. All right, I'm going to take a breath. And if, hopefully based on, being inspired by Tiffany and kind of hearing some of the ways that they've used Copilot, and maybe starting to see some of the product and how we're starting to weave it within, we've got a lot of resources for you that we'd love for you to take and try out, see what works, especially not everything might work for every community, and then also to experiment and to share back in our customer community as well of what's working and what you've tried. We've had some really fun prompts over the last few weeks that folks have tried with the Copilot and Engage to really, I'll say, squeeze the lemon out of the data and the content and the conversations that are happening in their networks as well. So we'd love for you to get started. Try the chat, Copilot and Engage chat. Launch a Copilot adoption community. Try it. If you already have one, many of our customers already have a community because you're so forward thinking. You can hook that up to our template, and then that way you would get access to that pre-seeded content that we roll out just about every week. So would love for you to try that as well. And then see if there are some communities within your network who would be interested in trying out the agent within that community as well. All right, and I have said this in a few other sessions, but this is our last webinar of 2025. So if you've been a part of the conversation over the last year, just a huge thank you. We're going to kick off 2026 with another set of masterclasses. So if you were a part of the masterclasses at the beginning of this year, thank you. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, at the beginning of last year, we held specific masterclasses for deep product knowledge about a variety of topics customers could pick and choose. We have recorded everything. We have given you the content for every single thing that we possibly could have for you to take, beg, borrow, and steal from us. And so you feel empowered at your own organizations. And so we're doing a season 2. I'm a little bit nervous about this because, right, is a sequel ever as good as the first? But we are really excited about what we're planning for January. We'd love for you to participate. We're going to do it on it'll start the last January of, the last Monday of January. We'll alternate time zones, and we'll do it every other week, I think, for about 4 classes this time, where we'll go really, really deep. And if this is the first time you're hearing about any of this, would love for you to be a part of our customer community. If you are not a part of our customer community and want to be, let me get the link as fast as I can to have you join our customer community. And I don't have it up really fast. I only have this, but if you want to be a part of our customer community, feel free, drop your email in the chat. I will add you right after this call. We have almost about 2,000 of you who are from around the world. This is an old screenshot, but who are sharing things, sharing the good, bad, and the ugly, sharing your wins, and folks like Tiffany and some other folks are a part of that community as well. So yeah. Jeff is asking, will there be certifications associated with them? Stay tuned. We are working on some badging concepts that should be really interesting for that as well. Yes. Yes, I know, Teresa. We really want you a part of the customer community as well. All right, that's all I had for today. Thank you all so much in the crazy busyness of December for joining us, for listening in, for taking really great notes, asking really good questions. Really, really appreciate. I'm going to pop over to the Q&A. If I don't answer it live, I will follow up with whoever's in there. And yes. Okay, Diane, we'll follow up with you after. Lots of really good questions. Thank you so much for the thoughts. Yes, there are different levels of licensing, and we'll share those all. Also, our adoption resource page is getting a facelift, you guys. I think by the end of the week, it looks so good, where we share all our templates, how to join the masterclass, and how to join our community there as well. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. And thank you again, Tiffany, for sharing your insights. And I really appreciate all the things that you shared. And yes, thank you both. Thanks, everyone, for joining in the chat. And we'll see you next year. I can't believe it. All right. Take care, everyone.